2 weeks ago, Dream ended his massively popular 5-part Minecraft Speedrunner vs 3 Hunters series with the grand finale episode. Manhunt vs 4 Hunters was announced along with the 4th hunter, Antfrost, shortly after. By adding another hunter, Dream is making each game of Manhunt more difficult than the previous ones, as there will be one more hunter. However, how different exactly would Minecraft Speedrunner vs 4 Hunters be compared to Manhunt vs 3 Hunters? How would this change how Dream would play each game? In this video, I will be making some logical speculations to what I think will occur and provide some possible scenarios. I will also be providing some strategies that both Dream and the Hunters can employ to win. But before we start though, please remember to like and subscribe, especially if you want to be notified when I release my analysis video on Dream's next Manhunt video. It would mean a lot to me and I hope you enjoy the video. So first, how much harder would having 4 hunters be compared to having 3 hunters? Well, having one extra person to deal with in a game like Manhunt undoubtedly increases the difficulty for Dream. The biggest advantage boost for the hunters will probably be in the chase at the very beginning of the game and the 4v1 fights that break out later. It would also allow the hunters to gather required materials more quickly. Even though they would require more, by specializing, they would be more efficient as the tasks for different hunters can be narrowed down further. Flanking would also become a more viable strategy, as the hunters now have more choices in how they want to split up and attack Dream from different directions. Overall, hunters would be harder to fight away and may come back even faster after Dream defeats them. So I'm hoping to see how Dream would be able to output the hunters with their new advantage. Adding the 4th hunter does make some things actually easier, as the 4th hunter would not be as experienced in the game and cohesive with the other 3 hunters. Not having great coordination would mean that it would probably be more likely that the 4th hunter may just be extra baggage for the hunters in the first video. It is also completely possible that the 4th hunter would have great chemistry with the other 3 and would become an active hunter immediately, but overall, I still think that the 4th hunter would require some time to get used to the strategies and the pace of the game. So what strategies would Dream employ to defeat the 4 hunters? Due to the fact that there are more hunters to fight, it would be less likely for Dream to beat them head-on with swords, bows, shields, and armor. If Dream wants to defeat the hunters, he must pull off outplays such as this one at the beginning of the first Speedrunner vs 3 Hunters, or build massive traps that would wipe out multiple hunters immediately to reduce their number advantage. However, I also think it would be hard for Dream to pull off these traps, as the 3 hunters are now extremely cautious whenever they see that Dream is potentially trying to lead them somewhere or they do not have vision on Dream's actions. It will be interesting to see what new designs Dream will have. Maybe he could innovate some new traps that the hunters have never seen before to catch them out by surprise. Dream could also potentially take advantage in the first episode the cohesiveness of the 4th hunter with the team and just the sheer number of hunters there are. Even though having more hunters may make the game overall much harder for Dream, the extra hunter may actually give Dream an advantage in certain scenarios, even if the extra hunter cooperates perfectly. Having 4 hunters would make tunnel warfare and mining underground to chase Dream much more difficult than before. It is hard to coordinate the movement of 3 hunters, let alone 4, when mining to try to reach Dream if they don't choose to split their sap away when they try to do so. The larger the team of hunters, the more difficult it would be for them to act and move in a fluid and uniform fashion. This can slow down the hunters significantly in certain scenarios, buying Dream time to set up traps or run away if needed. Even though this is useful overall, I think it will still be much more difficult on average with the 4 hunters for Dream, and he would probably need to make some small changes to his gameplay if he wants to survive and defeat the Ender Dragon. And finally, what can the hunters do to maximize the value that the 4th hunter would provide them? By nature, adding an additional hunter when there are already many hunters would provide diminishing marginal value to the team. So better specialization of different roles for the hunters will allow them to get the most out of their additional member. Having an extra member would also allow them to be more flexible during chases and fights against Dream. Originally, flanking wasn't a great idea as there were only 3 hunters. and they could only split into 2 groups, one with 1 hunter and one with 2 hunters. Now, with 4 hunters, they have much more freedom with how they can organize themselves. For example, they can have 2 pairs, or have one player break off from the 4 stack to flank, or to have 2 solo flankers and a main pair that chases Dream. There are so many more possibilities with 4 hunters than 3. Specialization can also provide more value for the 4th hunter, and can come in many forms. Originally, in my video on 5 ways to beat Dream, I said that for 3 hunters, the hunters should specialize into 1 miner, 1 food gatherer, and 1 tracker. The 4th hunter, in my opinion, should become a 2nd miner in order to make it more efficient for the hunters. Having an additional miner would not only mean that they would be able to mine full iron for everyone much more quickly, but also increase the chances for them to get diamonds that they can use for enchanting. Especially with 4 hunters now, enchanting that costs 5 diamonds would provide much more value than 4 diamond swords. The last time the hunters enchanted in the grand finale, Dream had an extremely difficult time fighting them off because they had better gear than him. So enchanting could be very valuable and useful. Overall, I think that as long as they are able to get Antfrost, the 4th hunter, to be able to cooperate perfectly with how the hunters play normally, they will become a lot more menacing than before. But they would have to put a lot of time in becoming more coordinated and fluid with a clear plan before they start a game. All in all, I think that Minecraft Speedrunner versus 4 hunters would not revolutionize Minecraft Manhunt, but it would definitely add some variety and changes to the pace of the game. I am very excited to see what comes up. And that's it. Please remember to comment below if you are excited for Dream's upcoming Minecraft Speedrunner vs 4 Hunters video and why. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It only takes around 2 seconds and it will mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed.